Welcome to Legacy Engineered, the show where smart structure meets lasting success. Join Scott Arden, Chairman and CEO of Controllers Limited, as he sits down with business leaders, top entrepreneurs, and experts to uncover the strategies, stories, and structures that build lasting legacies. And now, here's your host, Scott Arden.
Awesome. Well, hello and welcome to Legacy Engineered. I'm your host, Scott Arden, and today we have an awesome guest. I want to introduce you to a good friend, client, and colleague of mine, Bonnie Faucett. She's a former estate attorney and CEO and founder of Legacy System. Bonnie, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Scott, for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. So we've known each other for what, about four plus years or so?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Yeah, I know we're in various different communities together, and so it's always a pleasure working with you. And, I know that you've worked with a lot of our clients, and I truly appreciate you. So, so I want to ask you, what was the driving force behind you kind of choosing this path, your why, so to speak?
That's a great question. Ultimately, my why is my family, but it has been a circuitous path. I'll say that for sure. I was originally an estate planning attorney. That was my primary profession for about 10 or 12 years or so. And I was building my law firm at the same time I was growing my family. I had four children in a span of 4 years, twins tucked right in the middle there. So it was really crazy trying to build a law firm while having little kiddos at home. And what I realized was two things. I needed to have more flexibility in my schedule for them. And also, I wanted to reach more families beyond just my own and beyond what the families I could help here in my local area in Denver. How could I both be there for my children, but also expand my reach to help families? And so it ended up being kind of this beautiful marriage of going above being an attorney and instead figuring out how can I utilize software to help attorneys help families. So it's going above just being a law firm and saying, how can I help many law firms help many families? And by doing that, I ended up creating a virtual company, Legacy System. So we do focus on helping estate planning attorneys, but also on helping families directly get themselves fully organized. And so by building that as a virtual company, I had all the flexibility with my children that I needed. So it really was a win-win, even though, there was a period of time where I was like, I don't know what I can do other than law, but I ended up figuring it out, and that's where we are.
Absolutely. Well, that's always the nice thing about being an entrepreneur and, getting your own company going is having that freedom, that flexibility, and, being able to spend time with family. I know I've got my son, I've got my granddaughter. That's like just a key thing. And so I 100% appreciate that. 100%. So, every journey has its ups and downs. I would say, what were some of the early on roadblocks you hit? And are there any ongoing ones that continue to shape your path?
Yeah, that's a great question. I hit a number of roadblocks. Being an entrepreneur, starting, I have an idea like, every minute, it seems, and I have to decide what I'm going to pursue and what I'm going to maybe just put a pin in and come back to later. There's always roadblocks, and what I've learned is as we grow as a company, roadblocks I never imagined suddenly appear. As you solve one thing, another thing emerges that you have to tackle. A roadblock I had on the software side was really leading a development team. That's really hard. I'm the visionary. I can see it. I can even where the current state of our software is in my head, I see the next thing, whether it's, what it could look like next week. Or in 10 years, I see it, but it's really hard to translate that to a development team. So I definitely had starts and stops in that sense with software engineers to try to, bring into fruition with them what I could see in my own head. So that's definitely been a challenge, fun at times, but also dark moments at times, in terms of cost and that kind of thing. So that's been a roadblock, but also, I mean, honestly, it's kind of what I touched on earlier too. A roadblock is simply how do I focus? Because I have so many ideas and I want to pursue all of them because they're all great, in my head. And so it's hard. Sometimes it can be a roadblock if you're too creative to decide like I have to, put my head down and focus on this one thing or these couple of things that maybe have a, kind of a strategic synergy going in, and then put everything else aside. You can come to it later. And you know what, maybe it's not a good idea after all either. Like you have to be honest with yourself of like, that's not a good idea to pursue, even though it sounds cool. But it kind of needs to just go over and you just hold it off to the side if it ever, becomes something. So those have been two major things. Is how do I communicate my vision in the most articulate, clear way so it can come to life? And how do I make sure I'm focusing on what actually moves the needle?
Absolutely. Awesome. Awesome. Well, cool. Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. So you answered it in a two-part,
Oh,
which is perfect. But not, hey, not a problem.
yeah.
So, at what point did you start thinking beyond success and start really focusing on legacy?
So it interesting question because when I thought about what practice area do I want to do, it actually wasn't focused on legacy at that time because I wasn't even married or didn't have children at that time when I graduated from law school and hung my shingle to be out in the world helping families with legal work. So it really was an evolution. So at first I was just a general practitioner. I took any kind of matter that came through the door. I found that not very fulfilling. Plus, you have to bill hourly, and I'm not a fan of that personally because I want to be more efficient. But there was a financial disincentive with hourly billing to do so. So I was looking around at different legal practice areas to see where does flat fee billing fit in, where I can just continue to provide value even as I get faster, better, more efficient, and have more experience. And estate planning really fit that bill. Plus, it's not litigation. You don't have opposing counsel. You don't have late night emergencies with clients, or perceived emergencies. You don't have court hearings. You don't have court dates. You don't have all of that. You just are working with a family who says, I just want to protect my family and my assets. How do I do that? And so it's a very fulfilling practice area in that sense. So I transitioned into estate planning for those reasons. And then as I was working on a number of estate plans for hundreds of families over the years, legacy really rose to the top of like that. That's really why I'm here. That's why they come to me. It's not for legal documents. It's for making sure that what they are leaving behind to their family is not chaos, not a mess, doesn't collapse the family, that they have done a really good job of stewarding what they have earned and created so that their families can pick up the pieces fairly immediately and move forward with what's left behind as that person's legacy. So over time, that became clear to me as I helped many, many families. And then as I created my own family, I could feel it, even in myself and my heart. How can I make sure that my children have what they need? Because you never know what's going to happen in a moment. I mean, that's kind of the idea behind estate planning. You never know, so be prepared. And so now I'm focusing on how can I do that for my own children. And then as they got older, like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to be there for them. I was having trouble with the fact that I was commuting downtown, that I had rigidity with my client meetings. I couldn't get around when they were sick or whatever might be going on for them, especially now as they've gotten older, because now they're between 13 and 8, and then I also have a 2-year-old as well. So I really want to show up for my family in that way, and I want the legacy I leave for them to be, mom worked hard, but she was also present with us and taught us, the hardworking ethic and other, important values that we have here in our home.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. And are there any specific projects, say launches or offerings that you want to promote during the show? Any books, events, services, things like that?
Yeah, I have a couple of things because again, I have lots in the air at any given moment. So I have kind of two primary audiences that I like to help. One is estate planning attorneys because I figured out how to run my firm on automation, on systems very efficiently. We could increase the number of families we worked with without increasing our working hours, and I want that for other estate planning attorneys. So if you're in that audience, I have a book, The Ultimate Legacy, which is the exact system for estate planning attorneys to save precious time, take home more profit, and bring order to the chaos, and a newly released book called The 7X Revenue Secrets. So, how to grow your firm with less hustle and more intention. And I just divulge everything I know about marketing and increasing your revenue with what you're already doing with your marketing efforts. So, those are two books that are on Amazon. Again, The Ultimate Legacy, 7X Revenue Secrets. And for the audience of families, for parents, for those who have anything, even if you're not a parent, where you have someone you love, a pet you love, things you care about that you want to leave behind in a responsible way. The number one way to start tackling that, because I understand that can be kind of like hard to think about, thinking about that future moment when you can't be there for the things or the people that you love. But the number one way to start chipping away at that and kind of getting into the mindset of it's not just about, say, death or incapacity, but it's about how you're living your life now. We offer the Legacy app Family Edition. And what that is, it's an online secure vault where you can organize everything about your family and your life, all the details someone would need and would go searching for. If they need to step in and help you for any reason, you can go ahead and take it on as your responsibility to say, hey, whenever I need someone to step in and help myself or my family, then everything, all the information, all the documents are in one single secure online vault. And so for families, that's the Legacy app Family Edition. We highly recommend that you get into that and just start compiling things. Even if you only have 10 minutes a week to do it, that's 10 minutes. That could be 10 hours later for someone to try to dig up that information later. So you can find out more about that at legacyappfamily.com.
Perfect. Yeah, I've used the app, the platform. It's awesome. I've put all of my information in there. I've let my family know, my son, my wife now, know how to get in there, which I'm going to have to amend my trust now that we're married.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely have used it. It's very user friendly. It stores all the information right where it's easy to find. And so it 100% endorse it. 100% endorse it.
Thank you. I'm
Awesome.
so happy to hear that because that's the idea is, let's say that you put it together a year ago before you got married and now you're married. The point is that this vault can grow with you. You can go in and as you have life changes, go in and update the information in there to reflect your marriage, to reflect your spouse's information, even assets that maybe you're still holding separately or whatever you might hold jointly, they can all go in there. Think of it as a family vault in a way for you and a spouse or partner. If you have one, for those who are listening, it's where everything that a spouse or partner would need to access, or again, someone that you trust, whether it's an actual, maybe an attorney themselves or an adult sibling or a parent who would step in and help you.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think is next?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, I wasn't prepared for that one. Let's see. So we're continuing to grow Legacy System. That's the side focused on estate planning attorneys. We are really looking to create in the software something where it becomes so deeply embedded in your process, you can't live without it. So the idea behind the software, and for some of you who are listening, whether you're estate planning attorneys or families, this may surprise you, but truly in the estate planning tech industry, there is nothing like this, which is that the Legacy System software, we call it Legacy app, is the only cloud-based platform where estate planning attorneys and your clients can securely collaborate in one single platform. So I'm talking about just you go to one spot and everything is there where you can collaborate together, attorney and client, in one single platform for every phase of the estate planning journey, whether you're just calling to schedule a meeting or you actually go to that meeting and you engage their services, and then now you're developing the estate plan and all the choices in your plan, and then it's being drafted and then you sign it, and then you need to fund your trust thereafter to ensure everything is aligned with the documents that you just signed. In the estate planning tech industry, there is not a single platform that's just the one-stop shop for that attorney-client collaboration experience except for the Legacy app. So we are continuing to expand our reach, the audience who's aware of us as estate planning attorneys, and again, families directly who can say, well, maybe I'm not working with an attorney, but I want to start on the vault. And then you could use the vault as a stepping stone to find an attorney in our network. So that's really where we're headed with Legacy System, is really trying to get the entire estate planning industry kind of into the 2000s, if you can believe it, away from the old traditional way of pen and paper and mail and Dropbox and handwritten notes and emails and email attachments and phone calls and all the disjointed things. Move away from that, come into the modern tech world and have everything in one secure platform that does it all for you start to finish.
Absolutely. Awesome. Awesome. So I want to ask you, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
So I love that question, because really that's why we're here. That's why I call the book The Ultimate Legacy, because it's not just about attorneys creating efficiency. It's about what are you doing ultimately for your business to leave behind to, another practitioner coming behind you, and ultimately for your family. So the legacy I want to leave for my children is a sense of creativity. Like, it's okay to think outside the box and to pursue that and to talk about that. You don't have to live a cookie cutter life necessarily. I know that you and I both subscribe to the idea of kind of living outside of the traditional lifestyle in that sense, with the corporate lifestyle and that kind of thing. So I want them to know it's okay to be creative. It's okay to think outside the box. It's also okay to think inside the box, but be creative with what you have. That's really important to me. Another one is travel. I want my children to have experiences traveling. We're about to go overseas in a few weeks as a family. Really excited for that. So time spent with them where I'm focusing on whether it's at home, helping them with homework, or on abroad, or even maybe in our backyard here in Colorado skiing, where they know that we have family time. That's really important. We're not just about go, 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 and life passes you by, before you know it in the blink of an eye. So those are really important values to us here as a home, is the quality time together, the quality memories together, and work hard. Be a productive citizen for our family, for yourself, family, community, and beyond.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Well, I know you put it out there previously, but how?
Yeah, so you can find me at legacyappfamily.com. So whether you're an estate planning attorney or a family who's listening and are like, I need to get organized, I'd like to call myself an organized parent, because I really do try to adopt organization in every aspect of my life. That's another core value here at our home. I've got schedules, charts, lists for everything, you name it, because I want to make sure that we know, here are the things, how we show up in the best way. And so legacyappfamily.com, you can find me there. And also on that website, we do have a free guide that you could check out if you're like, well, I think my system's kind of okay right now, or I think things are okay. Well, check out the free guide, because I do share with you the top 5 reasons families, especially if you're a business owner or parent or both, why you would want to use a secure online vault that's intuitive and straightforward. There's really key reasons you'd want to do so, like reclaiming hundreds of wasted hours every year that people spend in mail and emails and paper files and you name it, trying to find stuff when they need it, protecting your family from scrambling if there's a crisis, eliminating business disruptions. If you're a business owner, that's really important, especially if your business really cannot run without you. Then you want to start organizing things so someone could run it without you if they need to. So we have a number of other reasons as well that I outline in that guide about the top 5 reasons to use an intuitive, secure online vault, which you can get at legacyappfamily.com.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Bonnie, I want to again thank you for being on Legacy Engineered. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Have an awesome week. And I know you and I will probably be talking here pretty shortly.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. So delighted to be on. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes, you too.
Thanks for listening to Legacy Engineered. For more episodes and to connect with Scott and the team at Controllers Limited, visit controllersltd.com. You can also follow Scott on Instagram and LinkedIn and start building your legacy with confidence today.